Hi everyone, it's Evelyn from Twin Flames 3344. I have some really beautiful messages for you today. One very unexpected message. I happened to watch Mystic Moon the other day, which I don't think I've ever watched that before. It just happened to cross my feed, so I watched it, and it was a really nice one actually. I think she's very lovely actually. And something that came up in her read was about the message about union was near when these three things came up, and it was white, a door, and feathers. So this morning I was doing my read, and I didn't even notice, I don't know when it was. It started snowing at some point during when I was working on the read, and I hadn't noticed, and then it'll be in the read because I wrote it down when it started snowing because I hadn't even noticed, and there was already snow on the ground. So when I was done the read, I went outside. I had looked as soon as it snowed. I went outside. I wonder if there's a feather around. And I'm like, nah, it's not going to be out in the snow. And I'm like, and now it's on my mind. So there's no way I'm going to find it, right? Because I'm looking for an outcome. But I started taking pictures of the snow, and realized I was taking pictures at the door, the white, and the door, and the door's white too. And there's no way I'm going to find a feather, because I'm too focused on it. So I let go, and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to look for it. And then I'm like, oh, well, maybe the chair lost a feather today. Let me look, because I haven't seen one in months and months and months. Like maybe once a year, I'll find a feather by my chair, because it's a nice down chair that I've had for a long, long time. And I lean over the chair, and what do you think's there on the floor that I never even noticed? It's probably been sitting there God knows how long. But it's like kind of in a space where I wouldn't get to, and I don't vacuum a whole lot anyway, but the vacuum is, the feather was right there. So not only did I find a feather, and that was at 12:21, I just now found, I was looking at the pictures I took of the feather, because I went to the kitchen and came back, and I'm like, I wonder if any other feathers came out of the chair. And that's why I went back, and I didn't see anything, but then I looked at the pictures of the feather that I did find, and there's this, I don't know if you can see it even, the tiniest little baby feather next to it. How cool is that? So I just wanted to let you know that message, because miracles do happen. And I'm going to start on this read. There's some unbelievable stuff that came through today. Again, totally different than days prior, so you might want to listen in here. Okay? And the numbers were kind of off the hook. Not when I woke up today. You know how I talk about like the number when you wake up, like the number before the hour, or the number before the 88, or whatever number you're used to seeing. It was just 313. I woke up at 8:07 today, so it wasn't quite 8:08. But then other themes of that were coming up, like today is 20 for judgment, and the read was done at 9:19. So 19 was the minute before the hour of the 20 of the day. It didn't match the 20. So that kind of theme was coming up until that other stuff started happening, and then all of a sudden the numbers started syncing. And I'll get to the numbers in the read. But February is just 343. So 313 and 343 just came up. So 3 is the Empress, 13 is the Death or Transformation card, and then 343, 43 is the Three of Cups, the coming together energy. It's the 20 of Judgment, Judgment Day. And the day adds up to 34/7, which is the Eight of Wands. It's that passionate movement of energy. So it could be a heated conversation, it could be heated passion, it could be just expressing your feelings, okay? Someone who doesn't usually express their feelings comes out and expresses. But there's judgment coming up here today, so there could be expressions of feelings and judging each other. So just, might want to check yourself on that. And I definitely can notice myself doing that as well. But remember, we have opinions. If you have an opinion about anything, that's a judgment, whether you think it's beautiful or ugly or whatever it is, that's an opinion, okay? When you're looking at me and thinking weird things, it's an opinion. It doesn't matter. It's just always about improving yourself and keeping yourself in check, and realizing that you're doing it when you're doing it. So maybe next time you won't, as you elevate your energy. So as we get into the read for the union, it was done, like I said, at 9:19, which is the energy of the sun coming in from yesterday, of the sun, the 19th, and the full moon coming down from it now in the waning part. The major arcana were Higher Self, Reason, and Luna, which is High Priestess, the Emperor, and the Moon. Okay, the High Priestess, the Emperor, and the full moon. There were 3 cups, 3 swords, and 2 pentacles. There were no wands here at all, which was kind of funny since the day is 8 of wands. So maybe there's not as much physical movement as there is expression of feelings, okay, which may come out more as cups. But someone's expressing their feelings. The energy's coming through. So there's a King of Pentacles, a Queen of Pentacles in the major Sirian starseed deck that I use. Queen of Cups also came through, and Knight of Swords. So yesterday it was the King and Queen of Cups with the Knight of Swords. Today it's the King and Queen of Pentacles with the Queen of Cups and the Knight of Swords. Very interesting. So the numbers that came up and the codes and what it was around, the day is all about forgiveness and patience today. The numbers were so much about 46, which is the 2 children in the garden, the 6 of Cups. 64 very much was about 64 as well. So you notice that 64 and 46 are reflections of each other, and 64 is the 10 of Swords, which is the end that the worst's over, right? The swords are now falling out of the back. And we have the 6 of Cups, the children in the garden, the inner children of the twins who have now matured and grown up. So as far as my inner divine feminine masculine today and what they were doing, as I always tell you every day now, they were both grown up on each other, their own sides, but they were sitting back looking like they were reading at first, but they weren't. They were dreaming of each other. And then I was going to just let go at that point and go on, but I waited to see if anything else happened. And he was trying to figure out how to get to her by surprising her, because he can't, because she always knows what he's doing. And so he finally just gets frustrated and kind of like etherically flies over there. And she knew the whole time what he was trying to do, and she just has this smirk on her face. But it was so cute because she knew how much he was trying to surprise her, because she loves surprises. I'm trying to think if there was anything else after that. It was just really sweet. And then they were together on her side, on the left side. But he came to her. So that was nice movement, okay? And they were both grown up. So there's a message for you. So we get into this forgiveness and patience today. The coding was all about that 64, the 10 of orbs, the 10 of swords. The Sirian starseed deck is orbs, but I always say swords just because that's what's familiar to everyone. But it's about the ending of that to the nth degree, letting go of the swords, letting them fall out of the back, and crystals. So this energy, crystal energy, is of forgiveness and patience. So first I was having Thoth to do with this, like this Thoth was trying to get his 2 cents in here about this. And then I was getting betrayal to the nth degree of crystals are 30 pieces of silver. And then I got that Mary Magdalene came in to say, Wounded Warrior, says it wasn't 30, it was 35. Because 35 always comes up as the Wounded Warrior and Mary Magdalene. So she was actually correcting that it wasn't 30 pieces of silver, it was 35, which is pretty funny. So it's saying betrayal to the nth degree of crystals, because crystals can be money energy, is 30 pieces of silver. So betrayal was definitely coming up today. A love for money or energy, and forgiveness and patience about those things. That maybe the masculine sold out the feminine for 30 pieces of silver, and it's about playing out the Jesus and Mary dynamic, okay? So love and union. Love and union. And then THI came up. So I looked up THI just to see if anything interesting came up. And the top heading was a quote that said, "Thy, T-H-I, thy father run off, half-dressed, as he were, for the doctor, Lancashire," so instead of Lancaster, it's Lancashire, Idylls, I-D-Y-L-L-S, and that was from 1898, and when I saw Lancashire, I actually was getting Lancelot. So 1898 is the day that both of my grandmothers were born, and both of their husbands were 2 years younger than them, which is very weird and unusual. Marshall Mather, "The happen wants to get one, owe thy own relations in." So it's old, old style English. So Marshall Mather, "The happen wants to get one, owe thy own relations in." So somebody wants one of their own. And then it said, and then ... so it didn't finish that. But then it also came up as the temperature humidity index, THI. Temperature, humidity, fire, the fire to water relationship. And then the next one came up was variant of Theo, or Thio, however it's pronounced, which is sulfur. And sulfur came up the other day for me, that somebody was trying to use sulfur to cover up something illegal they were doing, or immoral, whatever it was. Somebody was covering it up with sulfur. So here we have it coming up very specifically. Used in chemistry, where part of the oxygen atoms have been replaced by sulfur, often used to designate sulfur analogs of oxygen compounds, like thioacid, thiosulfate, thiourea, things like that. Some of the quick codes that came up online from the whole code about forgiveness and patience was enormous crystal geode discovered in Spain that was like 8 meters. It was 1.8 meter wide, 1.7 meter high, and then 26 feet by 6 by 6. And that was from geologyin.com. Made of gypsum, hydrous calcium sulfate. The next heading that came up was from Amazon. Again, the sixth and the crystals of Iolana, which is a book that came up already a couple times for me, so it's coming up again, so it's important for someone. All right, the sixth and the crystals of Iolana. That's I-A-L-A-N-A. The next heading came up was Vogel Phi crystals, P-H-I. Crystal R, 5'6" walking video 2 from YouTube. This is How We Trip was the title, literally, from YouTube, and it was about meth. So someone may be doing that, or there may be some formula that's related to that, so it might mean something to someone, but This Is How We Trip came up from YouTube about meth. The quartz page, and colon, it was about crystal forms. It was from quartzpage.de. And then the 7 crystal systems info, which has come up before, just the different lattices. The quartz page came up, crystal habits. And then aquamarine gemstone came up from GIA.edu. Can be greater than 1 foot long, the aquamarine. And then a person's name came up, LETHI-THU-Huang, H-U-O-N-G. And then the last one that came up was an abstract, crystal and molecular structure of BIS. And then in parentheses, it was 2, 2, 6, 6, ... So if anyone's interested in that, it was from link.springer.com. And when I saw this, BIS, it reminded me of was it Bridesmaids? When the cop with the accent says his bits and pieces. So somebody might be saying that. And then it was 946, so 46 came up again. The numbers that came up, I guess I didn't tell you that, were 64 and 46, I did tell you. But also 10, 44, 66, 34, 346, and 332. Those were the numbers for today. And then, of course, the 30 pieces of silver that were actually 35. And my numbers coming up this morning were very specific to me. I had 7, 38, 8:52, 2, 11, and then 19 for the read were the times. And they were 8 and 9. 8:07, 8:38, 8:52, 9:02, 9:11, and then 9:19. At 9:11 is where I got all the cards were out and some stress was coming through. And then at 9:21 I was getting the minutes before the hour. But there was a little bit of stress coming up in the read today. It wasn't terrible, but it was definitely present. It was definitely left over from the moon. So the underlying energies that came up, the signs that came up, very few today. It was very specific. I had Libra, Aries, Virgo, and maybe a little Pisces coming up there. I'm not sure which direction Pisces was coming up, but Libra, Aries, and Virgo were all three upright and all very specific, obviously. I was getting some water and earth, water purging energy in the underlying energy, and earth was really solid and strong. So as we begin, it was 9:46, the Six of Cups, the children in the garden. Twinkle, twinkle, little star, how I wonder what you are, like a diamond in the sky. And then I was getting Lucy in the sky with diamonds. Getting high without getting high. Balance returns by looking at the stars, especially by the ocean at night. Manifesting the Queen of Cups reversed, or a purge, to be clear with judge, justice, Libra, decision, a fair decision. Truth and balance. So it's saying when you have these big quick purges, it helps you to get really clear for something important that you need to deal with. So to use that. It's also saying doing it, looking up at the stars helps to clear you. Not only the things that we've been bringing up, but looking at the stars, as well as especially by the ocean, because you know the ocean water is clearing anyway, and just the air there because it's so clear, and the salt as well. A big purge helps to clear your mind for big decisions. Self-love, spiritual love. New love hides behind a man fierce in his truth. Only 2 sores on his left shoulder. There's no aggression there, just a smirk on his face, knowing exactly which door he's going to pick, but he'll be ready to be taken down just in case. Door number 2 isn't the right choice. If you've watched yesterday, because he was being reprimanded to make sure he picks door number 2. So here's the masculine saying he's ready to be taken down just in case door number 2 isn't the right choice. After all, women always change their minds. Haha, okay. The gate opens and opportunity presents itself. Opportunity knocks. The door in the snow. The choices now are not 1, 2, or 3 doors, but 4, 5, 6, and 7 too. The house, the decor, the yard, and who to get rid of. This is specifically for the masculine, but it applies for both. This is a union read. Oh my God, it's too much, someone's saying. All these decisions, and I'm going insane. I can't handle it. And then someone's saying, screw it. I'll flip a coin to make the choices. Opportunity presents to focus on money and move or unstable home, rising to the occasion, hanging Caesar and his merry men from the ceiling between the 11:11 on the porch, or a painting on the ceiling behind exposed beams like the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel. And Michelangelo came up here. So I have to, now mind you, I've been to the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel, but I don't remember what's related to what. I couldn't even remember if the Sistine Chapel was part of the Vatican. And Michelangelo. And they're not things I would normally think of, and certainly not from the cards I was looking at. I've looked at that card in that position a million times and I never saw this. So between the 11:11 on the porch, somebody has like some cute, maybe little Caesar dolls. Maybe someone does have voodoo dolls. But I was getting like Caesar hanging upside down and his merry men from the ceiling between the 11:11 on a porch, or a painting on the ceiling behind exposed beams, just like the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel, Michelangelo. The Last Supper was coming up. And the marble statues of Caesar and David. And David came up as being 17 feet when I looked it up, just to get clear on what was what. And it was at the time of Pope Julius II, when Michelangelo did the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel. And Pope Julius II was all about the love of power, war, and art. So the Last Supper came up with the marble statues of Caesar and David, as well as Creation and the Virgin Mary, Pieta. I'm not sure how they pronounce it. Piete, maybe? So Michelangelo is from Florence, and that's interesting too, because my first marriage, he was from Florence. He wasn't American, so that was coming up to clear, I suppose. This information that I looked up was from nationalgeographic.com. So Sistine Chapel, completed in 1512, with a little before the Protestant Reformation, which had to do with Martin Luther, not Martin Luther King. Martin Luther refining the revolution. This Protestant Reformation had to do with him. So the West Wall also came up. That was the Last Judgment. And then 3 decades later, let's see, 3 decades later, as the effects of the Martin Luther Revolution spread across Europe, there was the other painting went up, and I didn't end up writing it down. But then I had to stop to go to the bathroom. And I was getting reference, you know how the David statue and his penis? There was a joke they were making with me after I went to the bathroom about the size of his penis. So I'm just going to leave it at that. It was pretty funny though. Also noticed in the information that he had done a bust on Brutus. So you might want to read up on Brutus in relation to Caesar. And there was some probably backfire about him doing Brutus as Caesar in that bust, because it was actually his dark son, his stepson or half-son, I don't know what it was, but you can look up in the history. But Michelangelo's ceiling, the one he painted in the Sistine Chapel, was 132 feet by 44, so there may be numbers coming up for you, and it was 6,000 square feet. 6 love, O, backed by a lot of love, a lot of source. Then within the vault, the sections were separated into Creation, Garden of Eden, and the Flood from the Old Testament. So that was coming up as well. And then I go back into the read, and by the way, when I had to break there, it was 10:10. And 10s are, it's that 1010 high vibration. If it's 10 is the wheel of fortune, it's the turn for the better. And as we get back into the read, I was getting with gold below his feet. When we finished going off on that tangent, we were talking about the 1111 on the porch, or the painting on the ceiling behind the exposed beams like the Vatican and the Sistine Chapel, with gold below his feet. The streets paved with gold, or in other words, true love, which is the underlying energy, and beneath that was attraction, that magnetic attraction. 2 women exposed, one who drinks or with depression issues, the other put him in the doghouse and told him to leave, so he freed himself, but there's a snake at his feet. Cups on the tables everywhere, symbols of man and woman. So the symbols of man and woman. I was getting that somebody has them everywhere. Walking on the edge, the magician means business this time. Sword and stone with torch lit, on the hunt for the feet that match his, or heels and knees. Ah, the foot's arch fits the knee. Ankles that smile, and he's seeing a mist around the earth now. So arches came up, and they came up about the Sistine Chapel as well, because that's very obvious in the artistic point of view. Important for good walking support, arches. Elbows, knees, and feet focus here. Okay, so that's like a prompt to you guys to make sure you take care of your elbows, knees, and feet. Right elbow, right thigh, left knee, and foot and toes on white silk. So then white comes up here again. He knows a rose is a rose, but always comes with thorns on it. Watching her shower, remote viewing, worried she won't forgive him for doing that. And then change came up as the underlying energy, and then music was beneath it. Change is number 5 in the numerology deck, which is change. And then 32 is music, which is the 6 of Wands. 5 is the Hierophant, 32 is that 6 of Wands of the journey. And teal was coming up with change there, and orange was music. So that's really high heart to throat chakra, and then the sacral energies, release from prison or anxiety due to rejection, causing him to hold his feelings back. The tools of operation. So that the game operation came up yesterday. I think it was yesterday, if not the day before. The tools of operation are now being sterilized. One laser focus pure, the other with birds and flock pointing east and the north, energy measuring devices like metal detectors, one for the air and another for wildlife. When thunderstorms come in. Crystal energy work with fire and metal, iron work, and then a lathe came up. And the only reason I even know what the lathe's name is because when I was clearing out my dad's stuff after he passed, he had a lathe the company that he invented medical devices with wanted some of his stuff. So I was gathering all this stuff, and I wasn't sure to give them the lathe or not, which I did. But that's the only reason I know what it's called. It's just a rotation device. You can get a new one at Home Depot. But it's like a potter's wheel. Cutting, sanding, knurling, drilling, deformation, facing, and turning to create symmetry. Balance. The Divine Masculine is at the Y in the road, about to take off. Pop-top came up, and Pop-Tarts. Scroll and screw work. Scroll and screw work. Take it as it comes. Pen and ink and press work. Standard press steel came up. Vice grip. Magic trick. With chain, arch, and steel. Chain of events and a big reveal. Okay? Inspired by the Queen of Pentacles, Divine Feminine. The Divine Masculine is sending messages to work with true love, freedom and change at work, new projects, not sleeping enough, but rising above, and getting to the path of co-creation. So I'm getting, definitely some of the masculines are like doing tests with the feminine, so like I'm on here. So I'm definitely feeling like my masculine's probably sending me something to see if I'll bring it up on my video, to see if it's working, okay? So I'm getting, and that was at 11:04, and the time before that I wrote down was 11:40, well 43 as well. But the 04 and the 40 are reflecting each other, and that's the Page of Cups and the Emperor. Okay? So we just talk about the Emperor and the Page of Wands, but the actual reflection of the Emperor is the Page of Cups coming up here. Because how do you think he gets to be the Emperor without being that, purity of love? It's a big responsibility. And then the train whistle was blowing when I finished that sentence. And it blew 6 times, 3 and then 3 more. Recently, for the Union, there was a pitchfork epiphany, a bolt out of the blue, tripped up and split to expose his higher energy, to break patterns, to get real and gain clarity about duplicity, which are just lies, right? Feeling loss and purging to release for the masculine. So both here are purging to come together with clarity and co-creation and balance. The foundation here is higher self, the connection with the King of Wands and family, releasing the pain and betrayal between them and the twins. So it's not between the masculine and his family and the feminine. It's about him and his feminine and the family. Making peace, having the family, and the King of Wands, who I think is part of the family. I wasn't getting that as the masculine here, but it fit it to your situation. But again, the betrayal between them and the twins, that the worst now is over. needing to get his family good before dealing with true love. Centrally, the energy is the King of Pentacles and the crystal skull. Sovereign comes together to start over in love and blessings. And then blessings were coming up as children, the sun, full exposure, and happiness. And that was at 11:11. And it was just 30:11. 30 is the Four of Wands, the union. Okay? And 11 is justice, which is just truth and balance. Okay? So we have union of truth and balance. So romance and stability between the King and Queen of Pentacles and the Emperor, which is of reason or logical. So the underlying signs that came, this is not the underlying signs, we did that already, but the signs in the body of the read, all of them were represented except Sag was probably the least. There was some Sag energy with the Knight of Wands coming up, which was positive. It was upright, but it wasn't strong Sagittarius in the read. But all the other signs were represented. Leo upright. Scorpio was both. So if I say both, it means there was two Scorpios, or one Scorpio representing both the negative and the positive energies. Aries was upright. Pisces upright. Cancer upright and reversed. Aquarius upright and reversed. Gemini reversed. Libra upright. Taurus not sure, could be neutral. And then Capricorn was upright, Virgo was upright, and like I said, that small energy of Sagittarius was positive. It was upright. So the challenge being here, after 11:11, the Queen of Pentacles, who offered love to the Emperor. The Emperor with a love offer. Pending justice or divorce finalization, there's truth and triumph of divine marriage here, and prisoner of love, or prisoner of the King of Cups in the journey. Or he may see himself as that love prisoner. Now crowning is the reason, logic, the Emperor, pointing north, going back or looking back to make a big move or travel to release the dogs, and then who let the dogs out came up. Releasing attachments makes him feel inspired to get his wish, his dream, his true desire of co-creation. To detach from the Queen of Wands reversed, coming up as X right now, stealing his energy and will be the cause of his death. All right, so there's definitely been, he's been working too hard. There may be there may have been a lot of pressure on him, okay? So the truth of the strong arming is being confirmed right here to get her way using sex and power plays, throwing him out to be with his prisoner fantasy, who's controlling us by standing between them, says she. Soon the energies is of the Six of Chalices, the Six of Cups, the children in the garden, inner and outer children and past, destined to implement end to old family life. Magician is manifesting strength for the journey, no more closing his mouth, controlled by another. He now is in charge of himself. The Leo can play victim if she wants to with someone else. The union is the Queen of Cups. The Knight of Cups offers love. So this is how the union sees itself, as the Queen of Cups. So in the feminine energy of love and compassion and nurturing and intuition. The Knight of Cups offers love on the Queen of Cups, and the Knight of Wands is very receptive, if you know what I mean. And there's just the Ace of Wands is behind him, okay? So unrequited love comes up here for the union, but then soulmate, yes, this is your soulmate, reconciliation, someone from your past is returning, new love, and then the underlying energy, remember, was true love, which was that romance of a lifetime. Now we have new love and then past life relationship. Yes, you've known each other before. Around the union, or how it is seen, is the moon. The full moon energy is emotional, releasing. The Queen of Swords speaking truth about liar, cheater, thief energy, being kicked out for bad decisions and or deliberation or release, and that came up yesterday, and being judged. Clear blocks for both the masculine and the feminine of messenger of truth, being the messenger of truth and giving your 5D messages and being awakened. Let go of your blocks around any of that stuff. Being still or stubborn, refusing to move, being lazy, they're all judgments and resistance. Even to move forward. If you're rushing to move forward, where are you going to go? Moving before inspiration comes will throw you off balance. Hermit sheds light on conflict and expansion while going within to work on more wounds to release. Be truth, be love. Don't feel the need to be guarded. Love and nature are your natural protections. Okay, did you hear me? Love and nature are natural protectants. So the cards that came up here from the numerology deck were forgiveness and patience, which were blue and orange. So it's very much about your throat and your sacral chakras. So speak your truth and be creative and passionate. Passionate to a fault comes up here, and that's why the right elbow pain, it's in DNA lineage of looking back at old wounds and loves. And then a whole new thing, another offset topic comes up here, I digress, to eat apples and not sweets. After talking about the right elbow pain and old loves, it's related to old loves and old wounds, to let go of that, and to eat apples, not sweets. Remember, listen to this, Adam and Eve, atom and ion, in the Garden of E-Tower, the Divine Feminine's heart, referencing the Divine Feminine's heart as the Garden of Eden. The bite into the apple was self-mutilation due to the pain over atom, thus rejection, ionization, to connect to someone else, the connection. The Spirit's connecting with me, to bring yourself back to yourself. I'm going to say that one more time. Atom and ion, as Adam and Eve, in the Garden of E-Tower, instead of Eden, the Divine Feminine's heart, where she bites into the apple with self-mutilation, like cutting oneself, due to the pain over atom, thus rejection, and then ionization, to connect to someone else, in order to bring back to self. So the Ten of Orbs comes up here, and this is another tangent. Ten of Orbs was coming up as the 7 dwarfs, plus Snow White, the Evil Queen, and of course Prince Charming. Sneezy, sleepy, dopey, happy, bashful, grumpy, and Doc. So get this now. Any numbers to come up? The 3 principles and 7 stages of life. The good, the bad, and the beautiful, and all the reflections to live past the bad. Processing the 7 stages of life. Okay, and this was for Snow White, and you notice that reference too, with the white snow and the white door and the white feather. Purity. Coming into union, right? We wanted to get as pure as possible so you wouldn't be bouncing off each other once you come into union. So processing the 7 stages of life. So you should like this as well. And I looked this up too. I'm like, oh, well, that makes sense. And there's an order to the 7 dwarfs. And sneezing was first. So what do babies do when they're first born? They're coming out here where it's polluted. They sneeze to clear. That's their only way to clear their nose. And then I was getting all clear. You know, like shocking someone back to life. So babies sneeze to all clear, sleep all the time until the body is full functioning. They're dopey because they're still in their heart space under age 7. Happy can be independent, yet happy with what you have. Bashful teens develop and expand, and not sure if they'll be accepted as who I am. This lasts a while until midlife crisis, when becoming grumpy and unsatisfied, and choices made prior. The final stage is when you get old, dependent on doctors, and now must do what you're told again, as we prepare and repair for home. So how do you like that? And it's not something I thought about. This is just what came out. The 10 of Swords, pain, betrayal, endings, and the worst over. Control of Wands, wounded warrior. New passion of the Empress for natural sherbet instead of ice cream. And the Prince and the Pauper still waiting for that scene to play. But the Divine Feminine is ahead, and the Capricorn waves to show he's there. Or the devilish Divine Masculine is thinking about having sex with his Divine Feminine, but he must first say goodbye to Leo, wounded warrior, or his own ego. The Queen of Wands, or Divine Masculine, is working on a new home. So whoever's moving out, they're working on a home, or the masculine could be working on a new home for her. Suddenly the Queen of Pentacles is released again and back in knowing after the full moon. Okay, so the Queen of Wands with the Divine Masculine is working on the new home thing, and then the Queen of Pentacles as the Divine Feminine is coming up here, is released again and back in her knowing after the purging of the full moon. There's conflict over for new love, new life. There was two aces back to back here, new love, the Ace of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. The King of Swords drops his burdens and or confesses. He lets go of all others, has detached from what is not in his highest good, and wanted you to know. And here, I'll just show you. Here's my feather that I found. That's on my book. I don't know if you can see it there. All right, so I taped it on my book already. So looking up and seeing stars and ships, higher self, Queen of Cups, is very intuitive at the full moon release with epiphanies of the King and Queen of Pentacles, the twin or children with 5D messages to give reason for Emperor to end the pain for union. Looking up to see if storms coming for co-creation, higher self and the King of Pentacles Emperor, challenged by the Queen of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the inner children at full moon with 5D messages that the worst is over and it's time for reunion, or time for union. And then literally I wrote all clear, and I look at the clock and it's 12:01, the first minute of the afternoon. How perfect was that? And then I went back to list the signs for you guys, and then it was 12:07. I got dressed and then came back out of my room and to find the snow in the door. That was at 12:21. And then I found the feather at 12:22 and started taking pictures of the three at 12:23 through 12:29. But some really cool messages here. So I have this is the picture of, don't look at the dirt on my floor because obviously I need to vacuum, but this is the picture of my feather on the floor where I didn't even see, when I first looked I didn't even see that little baby feather there. And then, let's see, I don't even know if I took the big picture for you yet, but let's see. This is the basic read from today. And if you looked at that basic read, this is why I never assume outcomes, because you look at that read, you wouldn't expect that the read that I gave you today. Just give me 1 second, take a picture of the whole. Okay, so here is the picture of the read. I'm forgetting everything. Okay. I just want to show you real quickly. I don't know if there's a good one here, but yeah, this is the picture of the feather in front of the door and the snow outside. Look how beautiful. So I just wanted you to see the purity of that. So let's see what comes up. I'm excited to see what comes up in the oracle cards today. So let's see what they say. Everybody take a deep breath for the Ascension deck, okay? Here. Great. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. Clear and align. Oh, that's interesting. A car flipped out that was turned the other way, so I guess that's definitely meant to be read today. So then the underlying energy is Pallas Athena, number 58. I'm sorry, number 48. And the affirmation is, I use the sword of truth to lead the way, which is all about that purity energy. And guess what that card was that came up? Mary Mothers. Mother Mary's aquamarine mantle. And aquamarine came up in the headers today. And 52 is the Queen of Swords, the sword of truth, the purity. Okay? The wondrous universal angel Mary radiates her high-frequency aquamarine light through the universes. She spreads her compassion, empathy, kindness, healing, and love. Mother Mary suggests you open your heart and offer everyone who touches your path those higher qualities. Then she will grace you by placing her aquamarine mantle in your aura. You're reminded that there is only love, so there's nothing to forgive. As you wear this mantle, you become a force for healing and light, and the angels will sing blessings over you. The affirmation is, I wear Mother Mary's mantle of love and enfold others in it. Okay, and then when that comes up, it always means something to me because my mother's Mary. And I actually have, you might want to listen to my song, Mother Mary. So it's just so much about purity of love. So it was perfect that Mother Mary came up. All right, let's see what comes up for... We're going to ask Mother Mary today, since she came up. From the Past Life deck. Okay. Mother Mary, everyone take a deep breath. For this February 20th, 2019. For everyone watching, the best and highest good of all who's concerned. Mother Mary. For all of our inner children, what do we need to know and what do we need to know? Male and female came in at the bottom. Perfect, so make sure to align your energies before talking, especially if you're in a bad mood or if you're mad at each other. And Egypt is underneath that, so we have big pyramid, little pyramid. Allow the masculine to be his masculine at times, okay? Because you're equal, but he's still masculine, you're still feminine, okay? It doesn't mean that he gets to control everything, but allow him his prowess. I was just getting to, the farm is upside down beneath that, and I was just getting, this isn't your mother's farm, you know, like they use that expression, but not with a farm. This isn't going to be your mother's farm. Like, so it's going to be like a really, so there's a masculine who wants, a lot of the masculines will want to go out to the country because the energy is better there. But it's not going to be your typical old-fashioned farm. It's going to probably be a really cool one. And then the train is upright again, below the farm. So somebody might be taking the train out to the country. Maybe to a barn or to a horseback ride. Oh, I was getting at too that my masculine was learning a love for horses. And was thanking me for that because that was something I brought up in my message to him when I told him that I loved him. Alright, so Egypt is coming up, and then the masculine and feminine. And you see these together. This is just the underlying energy, but you see the parallel here. One's bigger than the other, right? Oh, and see today, I don't usually see an M. I'm seeing an M in this guide for Mary Magdalene. But don't be at cross purposes, as she's saying. Allow him to take the lead. Oh, this is so cool. This is Mary Magdalene telling me that the pitchfork and the lightning that I saw on the cards today was the M for her. She's covering the masculine to temper him. Oh, that's such a beautiful message. Alright, so the cards that came out for you guys. Oh, this is interesting. It's never come up reversed before. Scribe or writer. I mean, I don't usually do reversals with this deck, but since they're in this placement already, I'm letting it go. So, someone's run out of words to say. The masculine's struggling with the words to say. That's why it's reversed. Like how to express their feelings after everything. So that's a very specific message. Then we have communal living again, and food and hunger is reversed, which is good. When you live in a community with others, then no one goes hungry, because there's always others to help. That's very specific as well. Remember, this is from Mother Mary. So what else do you think came up? Mother Mary and her children. Mother Mary saying that they were both my children, Jesus and Mary. As are all of you. They were very simple. Thank you, Mother Mary. Mothers always make things simple so that everybody can understand, all the students in the class. When you don't know what to say, when you live in a community, there's always someone there to help you find the words, because Mother Mary's reading a book to the children. She's helping them find something to say. And no one goes hungry. No children especially. So that was coming up for me the other day too, as a really important. That no children go hungry. So now we have Journey of Love. Journey of Love. Clear in a line. Clear in a line. Clear in a line. Take your deep breath. All right. So from Mother Mary for this February 20th, 2019, for everyone watching and the best and highest good of all those concerned, what do we need to know and what do we need to learn? Mother Mary, what is your message? What is your message? On the bottom of the deck is Dance of the Planets, 56. 56 is the Two of Swords, being in your knowing. Remember, because the swords is all about the mind, dance of the mind. But being in your knowing, because you know already. You don't need to try to figure it out. And in the Dance of the Planet, they're just about, oh, I love that. They're just about in the vortex. It's showing you, like when I'm the message that I gave you today. And what's in the vortex? Nothing but bright, pure, white light. And remember, it's all about, the snail and the shell. So what do you think comes out just after what we just spoke about? The feather falling, pure, black and white. Simple. From Mother Mary. Be light as a feather and allow yourself to fall in love. And 14 is the Temperance card of the angels. It's making me want to cry again. And the feather is, like angel wings. It's confirming my message today, my feather. That's angel sent. Okay, and then another card wants to come out. I'll probably read this one too. Gifts received. And it's 13, which is transformation. It's the death and transition card. But you notice it's all green. And we have 13 and 14 here. It's funny because the coloring is opposite of the message I want to say, right? Because the feather is like winter, and then gifts received is like spring. But the numbers go in the reversed order because it's saying you have to know that the gifts are arrived already before you receive them. Because I knew that feather was mine. Is why I was able to receive it at this time. So the transition and then the patience. You have to have the patience, though, before the transition. So those are very much the messages here. And also notice the white in the middle of this card also, okay? That the purity of the white is always peeking through in nature. The gifts received. So 13 and 14. We have to do 14 first because we have to have the 14 before the 13. Okay. Falling up. Yep, falling says, don't worry. You may fear that you're falling, but it's just your soul diving deeper into the ocean of bliss. You are sensing parts of your life flying away from you, out of your control, as the momentum of your divine surrender takes over and becomes more powerful than the old adhesive between you and what no longer serves. Laugh, cry, celebrate, and ponder. Whether it makes sense or not, you are likely a perfectly ripe fruit falling from the universal tree, succulent and ready to be enjoyed for all that you are. If you wait any longer, this moment will be lost and you'll end up on the ground, having to decay and go to seed in order to start the whole process again. This is not so bad, but what a shame if your sweet nectar was not to be savored by a hungry world. You deserve to be declared the most delicious. Remember to eat your apple. Juicy fruit that ever was. Oh, that's so funny because I was getting double mint gum the other day. Yesterday, the day before. So that's coming up for juicy fruit that ever was. So fall. You'll end up exactly where you're meant to be. This oracle contains a message for you. You're being called closer into divine union and into fulfillment of your destiny now. It's safe for you to trust what's happening. Go with it. It might seem like you're being asked to take a leap of faith. It's the right timing for that. It's your time to give yourself in love without holding back anything of yourself. Is it wrong to love, to feel what I hold inside? The answer must wait. Okay? So remember to allow yourself to fall. You never know where you're going to be when you land. And that landing came up yesterday too. So gifts received says, relax. It's okay to accept what is coming your way now. Gentle your soul, steady your heart. Even the most precious treasure can be received by you. Why not? Are you not built of the same stuff as that treasure, beloved? It's all love after all. That is all that there is. Enjoy, accept. Rest in the knowledge that you're being invited into a sanctuary of abundance, peaceful rest, and replenishment now. It's just time. This oracle holds a message for you. The universe is trying to get something to you. More abundance, more love, an answer to a prayer. Sometimes the healing comes in unexpected packages. Sometimes we try so hard to find the answer, exerting too much effort to receive, that we make things harder for ourselves than they need to be. So relax and have some fun. Be at peace. Everything is working out just fine, and there's a nice surprise coming your way. And this poem simply says too, and it's the same amount of lines. They're both just 3 lines. Yep, exactly the same. The wind blows softly through grass and my open heart. Love unexpected. All right. I don't know what more I can say than that. That was a pretty amazing read today. Okay. I showed you everything. Rise and be loved.